happy Monday and happy new week in general. As you can see, we are here for Mind Map Mondays. And today, no intro, no fancy things, because the week is off to quite an interesting start. It's interesting mostly because of the fact that what I'm going to talk about. Okay, I'm just gonna adjust something really quickly because I believe, yeah, we might have been or still likely crosstalk here. Yeah, like I was mentioning, today's Mind Map Monday is off to an interesting start. Such an interesting start. Such a difficult start as well. That's what I thought would be a good place to sit on in as far as what to talk about. Anxiety, difficult times in trying to become something. And it has been difficult times all around. For myself and also for a lot of people around me. But what is worth appreciating is the tenacity with which we have approached these challenges. And so I want to speak on the particular techniques and tactics that we use to deal with the stress of all that is happening around us, right? I'm just going to turn my monitoring down because it is throwing me off. I'm going to be candid here, as if I am ever not, but I'm going to be extra candid here. I'm tired. I'm tired and I am beaten down and I am honestly downcast. But it isn't because of all the challenging things that are happening that I can deal with, that I'm okay with. I'm just tired. I'm tired of it being so constant. The challenges themselves are not the problem for me. The problem is the fact that it's one after the other, after the other, after the other. That is tiring. For me, honestly, it is tiring and I'm tired. I'm not going to quit, but I'm tired. Right? I am on this specific live today, specifically only because of the commitment that I've made to myself. Being the perfectionist that I am, I would have preferred not to come on here because everything that could go wrong, from equipment to this and that other thing, has gone wrong here. It's gone wrong. I won't even lie. And I am annoyed by the fact that things are not yet mapping out the way that I imagined them or imagine they should in my mind. But that's okay. Today I wanted to go over the strategies that I employ to deal with anxiety. Anxiety which I am in this very moment experiencing to a heavy degree. But much of this anxiety isn't based around external events. much of it is based internally. So before I swing back to explaining that, I think I wanted to maybe frame anxiety the way that I have come to conceptualize it in my own personal experiences. See, here's the thing that I've in my experiences come to grasp about anxiety and all of that. All of anxiety for me is based around ideas of death. That is what it is. It's based around ideas of death. That's what anxiety has come to represent in my mind, right? And that those ideas of death themselves revolve around ideas of uncertainty. Uncertainty is what these ideas revolve around. Death in itself is the ultimate uncertainty. Actually, death in itself is quite the paradox. It isn't an uncertain it isn't an uncertain uncertainty. In fact, death is the ultimately certain uncertainty, right? We all know that one of these days we are all going to die. That is a certainty. But when is uncertain. What happens after that is uncertain. But one thing that is for sure is the fact that it is going to happen, right? And that is what I have experienced anxiety to. I've come to experience death as the center of all anxiety. Anxiety around life events that happen to us, anxiety around possible life events, challenging life events, all of those things for me, I've come to find out are centered or have their central theme as death. So that then took me to a place where I had to sit down and think to myself, not that I'm obsessed with the ideas of death, but it is something that I think about quite a bit, right? I think about it quite a bit. Think about death quite a bit. My own death, the death of those around me. And the more that I think on it, the more that I realize that death is such a central concept of who we are as a person. What we believe about death actually is such a central theme or concept of who we are as a person, because it is the ultimate question about who we are. That is what death is. It's the ultimate question about who we are. Where do we come from? And the fact that it is inescapable, I believe the word is inescapable reality about who we are. That fact, the fact that not you or I can avoid the question, is why it is such a central question for all of us. Because whether you like it or not, it is something that you have to face. Right? And how or what you believe about that central question then determines how you exist in the world. Whether you are religious or a-religious, or whether you are, for some people, even to the extent of determining how they treat other people. All of identity, for me, at least personally, is revolving around your ideas of death and, as a consequence, life. Right? So here's my remedy, the remedy that I have come to use against anxiety and all kinds of feelings of trepidation and worry and all of that. For me personally, this is what I use. I focus heavily on what ideas I hold about myself as a person. Those are the things that help me deal with anxiety and challenging situations. It's like, okay, cool. If this thing that I'm so afraid happens, what does it say about me? Who does it say I am? Usually, if I can address that question, I will find some kind of preposterous belief underneath the anxiety. If I don't manage to succeed at a project, it means that I, as a person, entirely am a failure. Nothing could be further from the truth, right? And that's what most of my anxiety is based around performance and doing things right, doing things the way they should be, doing things well. That's what most of my anxiety is based around. And it is around the idea of, what does this mean about me if I don't succeed at this project, right? One single project, I've come to learn, does not then determine my identity on whether or not I am successful. And a lot of that thinking came from my own father, who's big on ideas of experimentation and the fact that the only way you truly learn is by trying something, right? Those core lessons have shaped the way that I have recently, even more recently, shaped the way that I draw up beliefs about myself based on whether or not something works. Like the amount of grace that I've been afforded to fail has given me the ability to redefine myself and try things out a lot more confidently, right? I try things out a lot more confidently without so much worry about whether or not I'm going to succeed at it. And that all was because of a simple adjustment in what the meaning of this thing is, right? I have come to a point where I don't conclude meaning about myself or an event based on the event itself, right? The event and its outcomes don't determine who I am anymore. I have come to realize that I am not part and parcel of anything that is happening around me. Whether I have initiated that specific happening or not, I am not that happening, right? Here's my remedy for anxiety, right? Self-awareness. Spend time with yourself. Learn about yourself. Who are you? What do you believe? What do you value? Right? Anytime that meaning or definition about these things is coming from an external source, anytime these definitions are coming from outside yourself, right? With what you own, what you do, what you enjoy, anytime that these definitions are coming from outside of yourself, you are bound to experience anxiety. And that's not because the thing itself is causing you anxiety. That's because the definition of who you are and the definition of what doing that thing or being in that situation means there's a discrepancy between the two. The two things don't mean the same thing. Like for me to say I am an artist, right? And I put out music that one specific person doesn't enjoy, right? That specific experience of that specific person, not liking my music, in a normal circumstance, then for me must mean that I'm no good as an artist or I'm not an artist at all, right? My belief system says that I'm an artist. Their review of that belief system, whether they know it or not, says that I'm not an artist. or at least I'm not a good artist. That discrepancy between their definition, the definition of what's happening outside of me, and the definition of what's happening inside of me, is exactly what causes the anxiety. So, if you want, or if you are looking to deal with anxiety, the way that I do is find out what definitions and meanings have I attached to this specific situation. What does this mean? If the worst comes to the worst, what does that say about who I am as a person? You figure that little piece out, and then you can take that and dismantle it, and you'll find the source of your anxiety in that. Almost always, for me personally, if I'm anxious about any specific situation, and I figure out what exactly I believe about that situation and what I believe that situation says about me and who I am, anytime that I can figure that out and replace that belief about what that situation says about who I am, if I can just replace that belief, often the anxiety just melts away, right? Because attached to that one belief about what that situation says about you is a ton of other beliefs, right? And all of those negative beliefs are then being confirmed by this one specific situation. Maybe one time you just should have changed one lyric in the song and everyone else would have loved it. But because that one time that you didn't change that one lyric, everyone gave you bad reviews about your music and your art or whatever you do. Apply this generally to whatever you do, but I'm giving an example that's personal to me as an artist. Anytime that they gave me that sort of a review, all of those little circumstances then start to link up together and join together. And then they build an entire schema, an entire belief system about who I am. Oh, I'm not an artist because no one likes my art. No. Being an artist isn't about people liking it or not, right? You see, if my definition of an artist is self-expression, and I have expressed myself, well then, I don't need to hold any anxiety about whether people like it or not. See what happens with belief systems and how they are attached to anxiety. I have no need or desire for people to like my music. My desire is for people to experience my music. Whether that experience is for them negative or positive, I believe I, as an artist, have succeeded. And I got rid of any sort of anxiety around the expectations that people should like my music or anything like that. That anxiety is gone. I take that same system and I apply it to absolutely everything, right? Financial, spiritual, absolutely anything. Anytime that there's an expectation that I'm not meeting, I look at what that expectation itself says about me. How does that expectation that someone else is putting on me define me? And then I look at my own definition of myself and compare it to that. If the two don't match, I often like to rely on my own definition of myself, right? That's how I deal with anxiety. And I've been dealing with quite a bit of anxiety, especially today with all of these things not working. I could have just said, hey, this is breaking, this is not connecting, this isn't working, this doesn't look good. I'm not going to do YouTube anymore because YouTube isn't for me. I could have said that. I'm not going to do streaming anymore because streaming isn't for me. Could have easily said that, right? But because of my definition of myself is based around taking what's inside of me and putting it outside, expressing myself, right? And that's the purpose of this for me, right? And that's why I've made the commitment to be here. Whether the wheels are flying off and the whole thing is in flames, I'm going to show up, right? Because the definition or the reason, the meaning behind this for me is to get something from inside myself and put it out, right? Which is what I'm doing. And I'm loving every single second of it, because every time I watch myself, I see the difference between the day before and today. I see the difference between the week before and today, right? And that's been enough Look at these mosquitoes coming to visit me during live. You want to be on live? Come join me. I was telling people yesterday that they shouldn't mind me so much, and I'm going to repeat it here. Don't mind me so much. I haven't taken my meds yet. So if it's an interesting experience, it's an interesting experience. But I hope that was helpful to someone. I really do. I really, really do. Yeah, I'm going to go into my usual announcements. We have started piloting our getting to know the artist experience. We were trying out some set ideas. We tried out the equipment and all of that, getting ready for the 28th of April, where we are going to welcome all of you to my home, and we can sit around, share some music, break down the music, and talk through how all the music came about, talk through all of that, and hopefully get to a place where we can express ourselves and share on that. That's the 28th of April, right? It's a pilot event. We're just going to be here. We're going to have some light snacks and have a good time, have some good conversations, and hopefully you get to know the artist, myself, a little bit better, and you can experience my music a little bit better, and you can experience me as a person a little bit better. That's important to me, that I can figure out the best way to put who I am as a person out into the world. I will appreciate your presence there. We are also working towards our September date. I'm going to be closing that out very soon, and hopefully we can get you in that space as well, which is just going to be an amplified version of what we're going to be having here at home. And I would love it, love it, love it, love it if you joined us. Yeah. Apart from that, also, there is the Bear T-shirts that we are going to be still selling here. I keep promising to put this information in the description, and keep falling short on that. But this week, that is one of the things that I have committed myself to completing, and making sure that I can easily get that information out to everyone. So look out for the links to the T-shirts, to the events that are coming up, links to absolutely everything to do with me, myself, and the organizations that I work for, and the work that we are doing. I will really appreciate your support, and I do really appreciate your support. I tell you, your one like, your one subscription, your one comment, please do share that, and share it with other people. That one small action to you it seems like one click, it seems like all of that, but for me, it makes all of this worth it. I go through all the challenges of running this operation with a smile, because I know that at the end of the day, you're going to click that like button. At the end of the day, you're going to click that subscribe button. So please go ahead and support the channel, and just hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I will appreciate it. I'm going to close this one out here, and trust me, I appreciate you beyond what you know. But for today, that was our Mind Map Monday. Tomorrow is Truthful Tuesday. We're still sharing and giving people the platform to share their truth in essence, and share a little bit about what's going on in their own life. Look forward to seeing me a little bit more buttoned up. I hope you appreciate my buttoned up look at the beginning parts of the week, because I unfortunately have to just rush in here as soon as I am done with my day, my work day, and just come in here and give this content to you. And I will continue to do that. But for the first few days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I will be looking a little bit more cleaned up. I hope we appreciate that. If we don't, I still appreciate you either way. That was it for today's Mind Map Tuesday. Mind Map Monday. You can see the week came out swinging. I promise the week came out swinging, I promise. Left hooks, right hooks, crosses, everything came in. But I still am appreciative for life and all that it means. And I'm appreciative for you again. But until tomorrow's Truthful Tuesday, adios. Adieu and to God.